What's up guys, Kieran here, and in this video I want to share with you a stock that I've been buying recently. A stock that in my opinion is one of the best stocks to buy right now. This stock is a very small company known as MicroStrategy, and they offer software as a service. Up until the middle of this year, this company was largely unknown, and are still largely unknown in comparison to other software as a service providers. In my opinion, this stock has everything going for it. Not only is this company in the lucrative software as a service business, but it's also reasonably valued and it's seeing massive growth to its bottom line. On top of this, MicroStrategy has only gone and made the investment of the century, which I think has the potential to at least 5x its market cap over the next couple of years alone. All in all, I'm super bullish on this stock and I'm really excited to share this one with you. So please do smash that like button because it really does help me out, and without any further delay, let's get cracking straight into it. Okay, so the new stock I've been buying is a company called MicroStrategy. Now you might have heard me mention them on the channel recently, but now I've finally decided to get my feet wet and pick up some shares. MicroStrategy are a business intelligence company. What that means is they provide software as a solution to their customers, which takes large data sets and provides useful insights on that data. On top of this, they provide consulting services. Now, the use of business intelligence software is commonplace in most large organizations. Big players such as Microsoft, Oracle, SAP all offer business intelligence solutions. However, MicroStrategy are the longest running player in the space, and up until Q2 of this year, they were focused solely on business intelligence software solutions. In Q2 though of this year, MicroStrategy did something which absolutely shocked the business world. They announced a strategic decision that catapulted their brand into a well-known entity across the financial and the business space. This announcement has given them a priceless amount of free media exposure and advertising. An absolutely genius move in my opinion. In Q2 of this year, MicroStrategy announced that they had bought $250 million worth of Bitcoin. A number of weeks later then, they came out and announced another $175 million purchase, totaling $425 million worth of Bitcoin. This was a monumental occasion because MicroStrategy are the first publicly traded company to put their treasury reserves assets into Bitcoin. And to put this in perspective, MicroStrategy had $500 million in their treasuries in total, so they put a whopping 85% of it into Bitcoin. On top of this, their market cap was just $1.5 billion. So now their Bitcoin investment alone represented nearly a third of their total market cap. As a massive Bitcoin bull, I have since spent hours and hours listening to Michael Saylor talk about his background, his company, and why they decided to invest so much into Bitcoin. In the process of listening to him talk, I've gained a great deal of confidence in his ability as a leader and in his ability to provide shareholder value for MicroStrategy shareholders. As such, I've decided to take a position in MicroStrategy. Now, if you're interested, I'd highly suggest that you watch some of the recent interviews Michael Saylor has done talking about Bitcoin. This is a rare opportunity to see a seasoned CEO of a publicly traded company talk about investing in an asset that's arguably on the fringe of the financial world. This guy is hyper intelligent and he makes some amazing analogies that absolutely blew my mind. I promise you, if you listen to them, you will definitely learn a lot about business, about finance, and about Bitcoin. But let me explain why this investment is so appealing to me. And firstly, I want to start by taking a look at their most recent earnings. So despite the fact that the stock actually dropped 10% on announcement of their earnings, MicroStrategy actually had an amazing Q3. The fact that the stock dropped tells me that the market doesn't truly understand their earnings results and that the market is acting a little bit irrational. Let me explain. So in Q3 of this year, MicroStrategy achieved net income of $26.5 million. And that figure is up by 20.1 million when compared to Q3 of 2019, where they achieved $6.4 million. That represents an earnings growth of 300%. Now, where I think the confusion came in is that this is a non-GAAP figure. Reported on a GAAP basis, they actually reported a loss of $20.3 million. However, this figure is not an accurate representation of the company's performance. Let me explain why. You see, MicroStrategy now own 38,250 Bitcoin. And as such, they now have to report on the volatility of this asset within their income statement. In particular, they have to report on what's called an impairment loss, if their Bitcoin holdings value drops below their average purchase price at any point throughout the quarter, even if they didn't sell any. So what happened essentially is the price of Bitcoin did drop momentarily below their average purchasing price in this quarter. And that meant that they had to report a 44.2 million digital asset impairment loss on their earnings statement. And this is in spite of the fact that they actually ended the quarter in the green on their Bitcoin investment. And to be specific, they ended the quarter up $100 million US. So in actual fact, they did amazingly well in this investment, regardless of the fact that they had to report it as a loss on their income statement. Okay, so now let's talk about why they had such an amazingly profitable quarter with 300% net income growth year over year. Well, firstly, let's just say that it's not actually driven by revenues, because as you can see here, they had total revenues of 127.4 million, up just 6% year over year. Now, while single-digit revenue growth is fantastic, it's not going to move the needle by 300%. The reason is actually down to a significant reduction in total operating costs, and in particular, sales and marketing. Looking at their income statement, you can see that in the first 9 months of this year, they've spent under 110 million in sales and marketing versus over 140 million in the same 9 months last year. You see, this company has benefited massively from the pandemic, as it's forced them to completely rethink their sales and marketing strategy. Prior to the pandemic, they were spending millions on travel and hosting sales events that were generating little return on investment. However, since the pandemic, they were forced to cut all of this spend and find new and innovative ways to market themselves. One of the most effective ways has been the announcement of the Bitcoin purchase and all the free press and marketing this has given them. You can see that they've also completely revamped their website, moving to a video model, sort of like YouTube. This shows off all their product offerings in a highly effective format that costs them little to no money post the initial cost of actually getting it set up. And in my opinion, it looks absolutely great. But the real genius of their Bitcoin investment is converting that massive pile of cash that was simply dissipating away with inflation into an asset with potentially unlimited upside. On the back of the announcement, their stock has actually rallied 40%. But I still think that the overall market is underappreciating just how genius a move this was. Because after all, the wider market still doesn't appreciate the investment case that is Bitcoin. Now let's talk about MicroStrategy's valuation. So as I mentioned, they have 38,250 Bitcoins. So at the current market price, that's worth about 526 million US dollars. Their total market cap is sitting just over 1.6 billion. So if we just exclude the Bitcoin, you're paying roughly 1 billion for an average earnings rate of about 50 million per year. That's a 5% earnings yield. All the while they're sitting on a massive amount of Bitcoin that has unlimited upside. Not bad in my opinion. However, let's imagine for a moment that they can continue to keep their operational costs down and generate earnings consistently around the 20 million mark like we saw this quarter. Well then that's an 80 million US dollar run rate and an earnings yield closer to 8%. Even better, right? But then imagine that perhaps they can continue to even modestly grow revenues, which I don't think is something unimaginable, considering they do have a great product and a great service, which have absolutely fantastic reviews and is arguably in one of the fastest growing sectors imaginable, which is software as a service. Add all these potential scenarios together and this valuation is looking pretty enticing to me. The real icing on the cake though is all that Bitcoin that they're sitting on. Now I'm a massive Bitcoin bull and I genuinely believe that the price of Bitcoin can 10x over the next 3 to 4 years. And if that plays out, well then the value of their Bitcoin holdings alone will be worth over 5 billion. It doesn't take a genius now to figure out what that would do for the share price. But what I like the most out of this situation is the fact that MicroStrategy are likely to continue investing their earnings into Bitcoin. So in my head, I'm buying a whole bunch of Bitcoin that nets me 5% Bitcoin per year. That's bloody brilliant in my book. Now Michael Saylor has also indicated that they'd like to potentially get into offering business intelligence solutions to the wider Bitcoin ecosystem. So if Bitcoin truly takes off how I think it will, then this could be a massive growth driver for the company. All in all, if you're like me and you think that Bitcoin is going to become the dominant monetary network of the future, well then other than just buying Bitcoin directly, this is a great stock to get exposure to. It offers a nice earnings yield in today's valuations and its business is focused on the growing software as a service business model, which is as lucrative as it gets. Now I'm not a financial advisor, so always do your own research. This is investing after all. We're not playing with colouring books, so you need to put on your big boy pants and make your own decisions. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter. The link is down below in the description. and smash that like button, and if you haven't yet, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also, let me know down below in the comments what you think of this company. And finally, if somehow Michael Saylor happens to be watching this video, Michael, please reach out to me. I'd absolutely love to get you on the channel to talk about Bitcoin. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one.